Europe. A continent that needs no introduction. From ancient cities to dramatic fjords, Europe's a treasure chest. Let's delve into its captivating capitals. We'll explore off the beaten path, cities shaped by Vikings, philosophers, and knights. Each city tells a unique story. Reykjavik, Iceland, Athens, Greece, Lisbon, Portugal, Valletta, Malta. Pack your curiosity and sense of adventure. Let's get going. Well, here we are, folks, in Reykjavik, Iceland. Way up north, practically kissing the Arctic Circle. Now you might be thinking, Reykjavik, that's a mouthful. And you'd be right, but trust me, this city is worth every syllable. See, Reykjavik has this unique charm, a blend of raw natural beauty and a surprisingly cosmopolitan vibe. It's a city where you can be humbled by the power of a geothermal geyser in the morning, and then find yourself sipping a perfectly crafted latte in a trendy cafe come afternoon. And speaking of geothermal energy, it's everywhere here. It's the lifeblood of the city, literally. They use it to heat their homes, power their businesses, even grow tomatoes year-round in greenhouses. Imagine that. Fresh tomatoes in the land of glaciers. But before we dive into all the modern marvels, let's rewind a bit. Reykjavik, you see, has a history as dramatic and captivating as its landscape. Let's step back in time and uncover the roots of this remarkable city. Picture this. The year is 874 AD. A Viking named Ingolfur Arnarsson, a bit of a pioneer, decides to settle down right here. Now this wasn't exactly a tropical paradise. Imagine a landscape sculpted by volcanoes with plumes of steam rising from the earth. And that, my friends, is how Reykjavik got its name. Smoky Bay. Those Vikings weren't ones for fancy names, were they? But there's a certain poetry to it, don't you think? They saw the geothermal steam, recognized its potential, and decided to call this place home. Over the centuries, Reykjavik grew slowly but steadily. It was a hub for fishing, trading, and of course, storytelling. Those long winter nights, they were made for spinning yarns around a crackling fire, tales of daring voyages and mythical creatures. But Reykjavik wasn't destined to remain a sleepy little village forever. The winds of change were blowing, and they carried with them the spirit of independence. For centuries, Iceland was ruled by Denmark, but the desire for self-determination burned brightly in the hearts of its people, and Reykjavik, as the largest city and the cultural heart, became the center of the independence movement. Imagine the energy in the streets, the passionate speeches, the yearning for freedom. It all culminated in 1944 when Iceland finally declared its independence, and Reykjavik officially became the capital of a brand new nation. Now, you might think a country as geographically isolated as Iceland would be, well, a bit isolated in general, but you'd be wrong. Reykjavik, despite its small size, has always had a global outlook. In fact, it was right here in Reykjavik back in 1986 that Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev met for a summit that helped bring an end to the Cold War. Not bad for a city that started with a Viking and a puff of steam, eh? Today, Reykjavik is a fascinating blend of old and new. You've got these brightly colored corrugated iron houses, a nod to the city's past, nestled alongside sleek modern architecture. It's a city that respects its heritage while looking boldly towards the future. And speaking of the future, Reykjavik is leading the charge when it comes to sustainability. Remember all that geothermal energy we talked about? Well, they've really embraced it here. They're pioneers in renewable energy, setting an example for the rest of the world. But it's not all about practicality here. Reykjavik is also a city that knows how to have a good time. The art scene is thriving, the music scene is electric, and the nightlife? Let's just say the sun might not set in the summer, but that doesn't stop the party. Now, I know what you're thinking. Getting to Iceland, that must be a trek. But it's easier than you think. Hop on a flight to Keflavik International Airport. It's a modern, efficient airport, just a short hop from Reykjavik. Once you're here, getting around is a breeze. The city center is very walkable, but they've also got a great public transportation system. And if you're feeling adventurous, rent a car and explore the incredible landscapes beyond the city limits. But listen, a word to the wise pack layers. The weather in Iceland is notoriously unpredictable. You might experience all 4 seasons in a single day. That's part of the charm, right? Keeps you on your toes. So there you have it. Reykjavik, Iceland. A city where fire meets ice, where history meets innovation, where you can soak in a geothermal pool under the northern lights. From the land of fire and ice, we journey south, to a land bathed in sunshine and steeped in history, Greece. And at the heart of it all lies Athens, a city that needs no introduction. This, my friends, is where it all began. Democracy, philosophy, Western civilization as we know it, all found their footing right here. As you wander through the ancient ruins, the Acropolis towering above, you can almost hear the echoes of Socrates debating in the Agora, the murmurs of Plato lecturing in the Academy. It's enough to give you goosebumps, folks, it really is. But Athens is more than just a museum city. It's a vibrant, living, breathing metropolis that seamlessly blends ancient wonders with modern energy. You'll find bustling markets overflowing with fresh produce, spices, and the chatter of locals, just a stone's throw from ancient theaters and temples. So, let's delve into this captivating city, explore its ancient roots, and discover how Athens continues to inspire and captivate the world after all these centuries. The story of Athens begins, as many good stories do, with a bit of mythology. Legend has it that the city was named after Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare, after she gifted the citizens an olive tree, a symbol of peace and prosperity. And let me tell you, that olive tree was a pretty big deal. But mythology aside, Athens quickly rose to prominence as a center of power and influence in ancient Greece. This was the birthplace of democracy, where citizens gathered to debate and make decisions about their city-state. Imagine that, folks. Ordinary people having a say in how their government was run. And it wasn't just politics. Athens was a hotbed of intellectual and artistic innovation. This is where philosophy flourished, where Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle challenged conventional thinking and laid the foundations for Western thought. The legacy of those ancient thinkers is still felt today, not just in Athens, but across the globe. Their ideas about democracy, justice, and the pursuit of knowledge continue to shape our world. Now, the Athens we see today isn't quite the same city that dazzled the ancient world. The rise and fall of empires, the ebb and flow of history have left their mark on this ancient city. After the glory days of ancient Greece, Athens came under Roman rule. And while it flourished as a provincial capital, it wasn't quite the same. Then came the Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire, centuries of change and upheaval. But even under foreign rule, the spirit of Athens endured. The Acropolis, though ravaged by time and conflict, still stood as a testament to the city's glorious past. And when Greece finally won its independence from the Ottomans in the 19th century, what better place to establish the capital of the newly liberated nation than Athens? It was a symbolic rebirth, a chance for the city to reclaim its place on the world stage. Today, Athens is a city of contrasts. Ancient ruins stand in stark juxtaposition to modern apartment blocks, bustling markets spill out onto streets first walked by philosophers and playwrights. It's a city where you can sip a strong Greek coffee in the shadow of the Acropolis, where the scent of souvlaki mingles with the salty air of the Aegean Sea. Exploring Athens is a sensory experience. The city is a labyrinth of narrow streets and hidden squares, each with its own unique character. You can lose yourself for hours in the Plaka, the oldest neighborhood in Athens, with its charming cafes, souvenir shops, and traditional tavernas. And then there's the food. Oh, the food! From fresh seafood platters to juicy souvlaki to mouth-watering moussaka, Athenian cuisine is a celebration of fresh, flavorful ingredients. Don't even get me started on the pastries. But it's the people that truly bring Athens to life. Warm, welcoming, and fiercely proud of their heritage, Athenians are always happy to share their city with visitors. Getting to Athens is easy. The Athens International Airport is a major hub with connections to cities all over the world. And once you're here, getting around is a breeze. The metro system is modern, efficient, and surprisingly affordable. Plus, many of the main attractions like the Acropolis and the ancient Agora are within walking distance of each other. But listen, a word to the wise: pace yourself. There's so much to see and do in Athens that it can be overwhelming. Don't try to cram it all into one trip. Take your time, savor the experience, and let the city reveal its secrets to you slowly. So there you have it, folks. Athens, a city where ancient history and modern life intertwine, where the echoes of the past mingle with the energy of the present. It's a city that will stay with you long after you've said, Antio. Lisbon. Ah, this city. It's a place that just oozes history. You can practically feel the echoes of explorers and traders in its cobblestone streets. We're talking about a city founded by the Phoenicians, those master seafarers, back in 1200 BC. The Romans saw its potential too, turning it into a bustling trading hub. But Lisbon's true golden age, its moment in the sun, came with the age of exploration. Think Vasco da Gama setting sail for India, spices and gold flowing in from the New World. Lisbon was the epicenter of it all. Now you can't talk about Lisbon's history without mentioning the big one, the devastating earthquake of 1755. It reshaped the city, literally. But from the rubble rose a new Lisbon thanks to the vision of the Marquis of Pombal. His innovative urban planning gave us the elegant squares and neoclassical architecture we see today. One of the things that makes Lisbon so captivating is its soul, and nowhere is that soul more evident than in Fado music. Imagine yourself in a dimly lit restaurant, the aroma of fresh seafood wafting through the air. Then a lone figure steps onto a small stage, a Portuguese guitar in hand. This, my friends, is Fado, a poignant and deeply personal musical tradition unique to Portugal. The word Fado itself means fate or destiny, and the music reflects that, tales of love, loss, and longing. It's a sound that will stay with you long after you leave. Fado is more than just music. It's a window into the Portuguese soul, a way to connect with the heart and history of this remarkable country. So, when you're in Lisbon, do yourself a favor, find a Fado house, settle in, and let the music wash over you. It's an experience you won't soon forget. Lisbon is a city best explored on foot, and trust me, there's a lot to explore. One of the must-sees is the Jeronimos Monastery, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that's a masterpiece of Manueline architecture. This ornate style, unique to Portugal, is a blend of Gothic and Renaissance elements with nautical motifs that reflect Portugal's seafaring history. You'll be awestruck by the intricate carvings, the soaring ceilings, and the sheer grandeur of it all. And just a stone's throw away is another iconic landmark, the Belém Tower. Perched on the banks of the Tagus River, this 16th-century fortress was once a crucial defense point for the city and a symbol of Portugal's maritime power. Today, it stands as a reminder of Lisbon's glorious past, its strategic location at the mouth of the river, a gateway to the wider world. Take some time to soak in the views from the top. You'll be rewarded with a panorama that stretches out across the city and the river beyond. Now Lisbon is a city built on 7 hills, so be prepared for a bit of a workout. But hey, that just adds to the charm, right? And the good news is there are plenty of fun and unique ways to get around. First up, the iconic yellow trams. These vintage beauties have been rattling up and down Lisbon's hills for over a century, and they're a delightful way to experience the city's unique character. Then there are the tuk-tuks, those little 3-wheeled vehicles that are ubiquitous in Southeast Asia. They've made their way to Lisbon, and they're a fun, zippy way to navigate the narrow, winding streets of the older neighborhoods. Of course, you can always hop on the metro or hail a cab, but for a truly immersive Lisbon experience, you can't beat those trams and tuk-tuks. No trip to Lisbon would be complete without indulging in its culinary delights. From fresh seafood to mouth-watering pastries, Lisbon is a foodie's paradise. One dish you absolutely have to try is pastéis de nata, those little custard tarts that are practically synonymous with Portugal. Imagine a flaky, buttery pastry shell filled with a creamy, egg yolk-based custard, dusted with a touch of cinnamon. These little bites of heaven are best enjoyed warm from the oven, ideally with a strong cup of Portuguese coffee. Another Lisbon specialty you shouldn't miss is ginginha, a sweet cherry liqueur that's often served in a small chocolate cup. You'll find it at little kiosks and bars throughout the city, and it's the perfect way to end a day of exploring. So, go ahead, treat yourself. Lisbon is a city that invites you to savor every moment, every bite, every sip. From the rolling hills of Lisbon we journey to the sun-drenched shores of Malta, and more specifically, to its captivating capital, Valletta, a city that's small in size but big on history and charm. Now imagine this, the year is 1565, and the mighty Ottoman Empire has set its sights on this tiny island. The Knights of St. John, a Catholic military order, stood their ground, defending Malta with unwavering courage during the Great Siege. And from this victory rose Valletta, a fortress city built by the Knights to ensure Malta's safety. Named after their Grand Master Jean de Valette, the city became a symbol of resilience and resistance against invasion. What we see today is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a masterpiece of Baroque architecture with grand fortifications that have witnessed centuries of history. Walking through Valletta is like stepping back in time. The city's narrow streets, lined with honey-colored buildings, seem to whisper tales of knights and grand masters. Look closely, and you'll notice the intricate details of Baroque architecture, ornate balconies, elaborate doorways, and imposing statues that seem to watch over the city. One of the most striking examples of this architectural style is St. John's Co-Cathedral. Don't let the simple exterior fool you. Step inside, and you'll be greeted by a riot of color and ornamentation. The cathedral's interior is a masterpiece of gilded surfaces, intricate carvings, and breathtaking frescoes. It's a testament to the wealth and artistry of the Knights of St. John, who spared no expense in creating this opulent masterpiece. Valletta's history isn't all about knights and grand sieges. Fast forward a few centuries and we find ourselves in the midst of another conflict, World War II. Malta, strategically located in the middle of the Mediterranean, became a vital Allied base, and Valletta, as its capital, endured relentless bombing by Axis forces. The city was heavily damaged, but the spirit of the Maltese people remained unbroken. In recognition of their extraordinary courage and resilience, King George VI awarded the entire island of Malta the George Cross, a medal for civilian gallantry. Today the George Cross is proudly displayed on the Maltese flag, a constant reminder of the sacrifices made during the war and the indomitable spirit of the Maltese people. Don't let Valletta's small size fool you. This city is packed with hidden gems just waiting to be discovered. One of my favorite things to do here is to simply wander through the narrow streets, soaking up the atmosphere and stumbling upon unexpected treasures. You might find yourself in a bustling market haggling for souvenirs, or in a quiet courtyard, sipping coffee at a sidewalk cafe. And be sure to look up. You never know what architectural details you might spot on the facades of the buildings. For a taste of local life, head to the Valletta waterfront, a lively promenade lined with restaurants and bars. It's the perfect place to relax with a glass of Maltese wine and watch the boats bobbing in the harbor. And if you're looking for a bit of culture, Valletta has plenty to offer, from museums and art galleries to theaters and music venues. Despite its historical significance, Valletta is far from being a stuffy museum piece. It's a vibrant living city that seamlessly blends its rich past with a modern, cosmopolitan outlook. The city comes alive with events throughout the year, from the colorful pageantry of religious festivals to the vibrant energy of the Malta Jazz Festival. And the nightlife scene is equally diverse, with something to suit every taste. Whether you're strolling along the harbor at sunset, enjoying a meal at a waterfront restaurant, or simply soaking up the atmosphere in a cozy wine bar, Valletta is a city that will captivate your senses. And the best part is, everything in Valletta is within walking distance, so you can truly immerse yourself in the city's unique charm. From Reykjavik's geothermal wonders to Athens's ancient streets, Lisbon's maritime legacy, and Valletta's fortress walls, Europe's four corners tell a story of resilience, innovation, and cultural richness. Which one are you most excited to visit? Let us know in the comments, and remember to like, subscribe, and join us for more adventures.